As Susan said, 2022 was a difficult year. It was the kind of a year where we have to go back and ask ourselves, what kind of lessons have we learned as an investment team that will help us and our clients in the future? But as Susan also mentioned, it was an extraordinary gift for our whole team to get to go to New York City, to be on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and to ring the closing bell. So we're very delighted that we got to share one bright spot that happened this year in 2022. And thanks to all of you for helping in your own way to create the opportunity for us as a team to go to New York. Now, lessons learned. 2022 was a difficult year in the capital markets. In fact, it was a rather extraordinary year. You know, we felt like we were taking many bold actions. In fact, even starting back in 2021, we began to sell technology stocks that were getting overvalued. We began in the bond portfolios to shorten up maturities. There were many, many different steps that we took for our clients in different ways to try and protect capital and to adjust to the market environment that was unfolding. But remember that being bold would have been a mistake basically from 2009 to the end of 2021. So last year was a real outlier. It was a very strange year. And you can see on this picture that if we're in the bottom left quartile, which we are, the bottom left quadrant, I should say, back in 1931, 1969, and 2022, that bottom left quadrant suggests that both bonds and stocks lost money. That's only happened in those 3 years since the 1920s. So there was really no safe place to hide except for cash. Stocks lost money, bonds lost money, and although the year's not done, it looks like, unfortunately, that's how it's going to unfold. So why was this year so difficult? Why was it, frankly, so extraordinary when you see that only 1931 and 1969 had the same result? Well, it was extraordinary because of inflation. Now, the definition of inflation is too much money chasing too few goods. And the problem was that with COVID, we had supply constraints, supply chain constraints. And then in Washington, they printed a ton of money and gave it out. And so now we had the too much money chasing too few goods, and we got inflation. And then to compound matters, the Federal Reserve Bank was slow to recognize the problem and slow to begin to raise interest rates. So then they finally started raising interest rates and have done so at a very fast clip, as our panel will discuss. So inflation has been a major story in the year 2022, and our panel of Craig McCrory, Steve Mahan, and Sarah LeClaire will come up next to talk not only about inflation, but also the rest of the outlook for 2023.